Good morning and welcome to the Monday, August 8th, 2022 press conference. And I am very happy to announce here and to introduce, we've got another mayor for the day that I would like to bring up. I would like to welcome Aya Prince, who is an eighth grader, a rising eighth grader at Fiscal Day School, and she's going to be spending the day with me. She is going to be the mayor for the day this week, and we will be going to the port and to the airport. Aya, you have a couple words to say?
All right. Thank you. I am super excited to be here and learn more about what what the mayor does here in Pensacola, and I feel like it's a great opportunity for kids my age to learn about the sort of things that go on here. And so I'm just super excited to have that opportunity. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Aya. Thank you. Aya did tell me that I should go ahead and just do the rest of the press conference, handle all the questions. So anyway, we were talking upstairs. She found out that we have 800 people that we work for. I told her for the most part they do an incredible job and take care of everything. It's only when something happens and something breaks down, that's when they call the mayor. So that's when you get active at that point. But there are a couple of good things we want to go over that happened last week. A couple of these are tremendous things that we've been working on for a long time. One of those included the Blake Doyle Skate Park as a part of Hollis T. Williams and getting that kicked off and beginning to move forward. This has been a thing that we've been talking about for a long time. Obviously, we had to go through the Hollis T. Williams project, which took a little bit longer. COVID then made things a little bit longer. But as I said at my speech at the event, perseverance is a big part of being a Pensacolian and in working through things. It's taken us a long time to get to where we are today, but we're truly beginning to reap the benefits that we've worked so hard for a long time. And one of those things, it was certainly good to see the skate park groundbreaking. It is going to be significant when you see it, when you go down there. When you look at it on paper, sometimes it looks a little small. You're like, this doesn't look. Then you get down there and you realize it's going to be under 3 sections of the interstate down there, right wrapping around where the garden is down there, just south of the police station. So that was a great event to have. Certainly want to thank John Shell for his vision and his perseverance. There were a lot of other people that helped make that day possible, and it was glad to be there. And I thought it was a great celebration of what that space can become, and as we go further north, what it will become for the entire community. I think it's really going to be a great linear park that really brings the community together, takes care of our stormwater, and gives us a lot of opportunities like we've never had a skate park. So again, trying to fill holes in our offering and continue to give great amenities and great benefit to people who want to live here in the city of Pensacola. The other thing that we had was town hall meeting. I certainly appreciate Councilwoman Broughton on District 5, having a town hall meeting, and Tignati did it totally a little bit different. It was a great opportunity. She does a great job. We were able to go out to the Chappie James Museum, had a chance to see the museum, people take the tour beforehand, gave them a chance to show off. But we also have that small park in there that's ours. And it was a good chance for us to have an outdoor event. I will say, I think PIO, we were a little scared about the rain and the heat, but it turned out perfect. It really turned out to be a very comfortable night, and we managed, there were some pretty dark clouds, but we managed to miss the rain, so it turned out to be a great night all the way around. I think all the guests really enjoyed it. I think they enjoyed seeing the Chappie James Museum and what was there. And it really gave us a chance to address some of the things that are happening there in District 5. Obviously, a big one is going to be what continues to look forward with the. We're going to talk about one of the things that we've got on Palafox. The number 2 issue we have with DOT is looking to get the Davis and MLK, get those 2-wayed those streets rather than 1-way. We think it will really slow down. We had a lot of complaints about speeding on those areas. We got a lot of complaints at the town hall, and I think the biggest way to stop speeding is to quit letting those be one-way streets with 2 lanes that allow people to really speed through the neighborhood. So in an effort to make things more bikeable and walkable, I think getting that switched over, and we've been working with DOT, and I think after we get done with Palafox Diet, we've got it set up, teed up well for the next mayor to be able to make that happen. So, that's one of the things that came out of the District 5 Town Hall. Lastly, was the PPD awards ceremony, the quarterly one. This is my last one that I was able to be a part of. These events, if you haven't been to them, are just simply amazing to hear the stories. We recognized a number of different police officers for awards. We also recognized a number of them that were being promoted, but we also recognized citizens who helped the police. And there was a gentleman on 9th Avenue that helped restrain an individual that was unfortunately under under a substance and was giving an officer a significant time trying to get them to keep from walking out on 9th Avenue and potentially harming themselves and doing other things. But it was just amazing to hear stories like that all the time of citizens who also help us, and also the bravery and the things that the men and women of the Pensacola Police Department do. It always is something special to me, and I will miss those because I realized that was probably my last one, and so I communicated that, how much I appreciated being there, and I thought we'd made tremendous strides at PPD while I've been mayor. Very excited about the things that they're doing and really the future of where PPD goes. So again, just really appreciate the work that the men and women of the Pensacola Police Department do, and certainly the strides that they're making to be an incredible force. Like I said before, our other first responders, our firefighters are now an ISO 1 rated, which less than 1% of the fire systems in the country are ISO 1. And it just kind of shows the quality of people that we're getting. And I think this next council meeting, I know the chief is going to come talk about some of the things he's instituted. He's going to also talk about getting us up to full staffing where we have not been. We're going to be there in August here of this year. So a lot of things that we've been working on, bringing officers in across the country. Police are seeing people leave the profession, but in the city of Pensacola, we're able to increase our presence and work to get good officers and good people. And it certainly is working in our advantage in that way. And so we will continue to keep doing that. Today, we are back in our old stomping grounds here in the Wibs, so it's kind of more intimate. It feels like one of those old school ballparks where it's much more intimate versus our larger size up there in Hagler Mason. But today in Hagler Mason, the council is upstairs with a budget workshop that began at 9 and to review and discuss the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget. The public can watch this meeting via live stream at cityofpensacola.com/video. So please, if you want to take a look at that, you're welcome to see what's going on upstairs. We're very, we worked hard at the budget to get it ready. I guess we're very happy with where we've been able to be. There's no increase in taxes to our citizens. The increases that we're seeing are simply through the values that are increasing because of the work that we're doing to improve the values all over. Again, values have probably never been higher anywhere in Pensacola, whether it's just downtown, whether it's out in our suburbs. We are seeing people want to come to the city of Pensacola, and so we have had value growth, but that's really about it. That's the rest of it. We're fitting there, and we also got a balanced budget, so that's what we have to do every year. That's what's going on upstairs, and we certainly look to getting through that through the end of September and getting it finally approved. Resident Satisfaction Survey will kick off today. We are conducting our annual Resident Satisfaction Survey, and we encourage all city residents to participate and let their voices be heard. City residents are asked to complete the survey online at uwf.edu/HOS Resident Survey or by phone at 850-495-2666 by Friday, September 9th. So again, you can go online or you can do it by phone. Residents should also receive a postcard in the mail to complete the survey. We hope you will do that. It's very important to us to knowing the things that are issues for you out there, our residents. It's allowed us and guided us and really helps us figure out what we need to be doing to do a better job of serving you. So we need your input to be able to do that as we go forward and set up for next year. Also, we have Climate Smart Floridians program. The City of Pensacola, the University of Florida IFAS Extension are teaming up to host a climate smart Floridians program to provide citizens with research-based information about local climate change. This 8-week program will run from August 24th through October 12th and will meet weekly on Wednesday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30, along with 2 field trips. Lessons will cover the principles of sustainability and water, waste, food, transportation, energy use, green building, landscapes, and city resilience efforts. You can learn more at cityofpensacola.com. Also, finally, speaking of what we were talking about earlier, the priorities we have with Florida Department of Transportation, FDOT will host a public meeting on North Palafox Street resurfacing improvements. If you recall, part of those resurfacing improvements will be north outside the city jurisdiction, but basically from Cervantes to Scott Street. This is commonly referred to as the Palafox Street Diet. That will be in the city, and they will be discussing that. FDOT will hold a public meeting concerning resurfacing improvements on North Palafox Street from Cervantes to State Road 296, which is Brent Lane, on Tuesday, August 16th from 5:30 to 6:30. This project includes a section of Palafox, again, from Cervantes to Scott, which is commonly referred to for us in the city as the Palafox Street Road Diet. Citizens are encouraged to attend the meeting virtually at nwflroads.com/virtual meetings, or you can certainly attend in person. You may attend in person at Spencer Bibbs Center, that's at 2005 North 6th Avenue. So that is in the city, and we hope you will be able to attend. Certainly those neighborhoods are right there. We'd encourage you to attend, but also you can attend virtually as well. We hope you will let the state know about your thoughts on the diet, and so we're looking forward to that. Obviously, you can also talk to them about what's going to happen in the county with the resurfacing project, but we're probably, in the city, we're most excited about seeing what's going to happen with the diet portion and what we can do there. We think that will allow us to do better bike and pedestrian, but also perhaps establish street side parking that allows for us to really see a full development back up of that residential commercial area on Palafox that is off North Hill and off of East Side. We certainly think that can help foster and continue better growth of those communities there and what can service those communities. So we're excited to see what goes forward. And again, those are the things that are happening. I guess lastly, I did take a call, or last Friday, I had seen some things I'd read, and I reached out because I saw where the issues that were being discussed with the restroom or the portalette on Palafox, and I made Rick Outson aware that there's a standing offer, at least for a year now. What I've been communicating, continued a couple of weeks ago, is that I think there's a lot of conflict between trying to do a lot of things on Palafox. If we're going to do a feeding mission and a variety of other things, I think that should be done at the John Sunday Park, which is right north of City Hall here. There's a bus stop. That's the main bus stop for ECAT in downtown. There's a chance for us to do things. We put in some benches here, if you remember, a couple of years ago. I've also told Mike, I met with him twice, once here at City Hall, once at the Alfred Washburn Center, and I told him, yeah, we would be more than happy to put restrooms out there if that's where we want to move the feeding mission. Certainly from Palafox. I've spoken several times here about, I think that the feeding mission on Palafox creates conflict with the merchants and other things that are happening on Palafox, and I think a better place for all the uses in downtown is if that was here in the John Sunday Park. Again, everybody has a place in downtown, much like we discussed with what we were able to do at Bruce Beach. This is something that represents something for everyone. So we have to have something for everyone here, but we can't get everyone 100% of what they want throughout the downtown area, or it won't work altogether. And again, I think for us, Palafox has shown a significant amount of conflict. Obviously, we had the stabbing of the patron who was at Iron a couple of years ago. We've had a number of other issues that have happened. And lastly, we had one of our homeless advocates get arrested for different issues there with the DIB. I certainly welcome a chance that I think that we could create a better downtown community. if we were able to create less conflict and find a way to de-escalate things. So again, I made Rick aware of my offer, and I talked to him this morning about it on his radio show. And I certainly am happy to get together Walker and the people from Michael Kimbrell and his people and see what we can do to have a solution. We certainly believe there are other opportunities that create less conflict, and we're going to continue to pursue those things. But that's kind of where we are this week. I'm happy to take your questions. Yes.
Is the city, are you actively talking to the DIB in regards to the Kimbrell stuff?
I have not, but I that was when I when I realized that there were some things that didn't seem to be out there expressed. And that's when I called Rick about it, and he asked about that. So I have sent a text to both Michael Kimbrell and to Walker and asked Kara to set up, my assistant, to set up a meeting with both of them. So she has responded that she's going to work on that, and I heard at least from Walker that he's receptive to meetings. So we'll see what happens from there.
I mean, do you think that'll happen though, given the, I imagine Mike's lawyer will advise him not to meet with the people that are pressing charges.
Well, my understanding is from Rick, and again, they were supposed to meet sometime last week, and somehow it didn't get a chance to happen because the attorney was busy. So he simply asked if we had an opportunity. I said, hey, we've got a standing offer. I mean, I think it would be a much better solution for everyone, and could work. But again, like I told him, I said that's the challenge, though. It takes two to negotiate, and we've certainly been offering, but I'm more than happy to ask for that meeting to come together. So I'm happy to do what I can, Jeremy, but I can't make people come together. I can't make them try to work for a better, but I can certainly suggest it, and that's what I'm here to tell y'all. We're certainly working on that and trying to find solutions. And I've said it 2 weeks ago. I think what's going on Palafox creates more conflict, and what we should be focused on is creating less conflict. And my offer, I think, creates less conflict. Jim?
A follow up on that, I guess, talking about restrooms on Palafox, isn't the city, don't y'all have a plan in place to build restrooms?
We do.
Wouldn't that then make it a better place to do the feeding if there's restrooms and things?
I don't think the feeding necessarily, Jim, is going to be consistent with what we're doing. I think we've showed there's too much conflict in there. And again, I think it's easy to say, well, these people like to do it here, these people don't. It's just, we got to find a place to do it. I tend to think if you looked at John Sunday Park, you get all the things that you want. You have a very nice shaded park with lots of benches. You have the bus stop for the City of Pensacola downtown. I mean, for ECAT is right here at that location. People could come in, they could leave, they could disperse easily to wherever they want to go. And what happens? We are now working more and more. I think having what REAP has been doing with Fearless and Melissa Johnson. You have opportunities to work there. We have a whole new set of programs and offerings that can work with individuals who are homeless, that I think we ought to be doing it. For a long time, I've wanted to figure out how to coordinate those together. I realize Food Not Bombs wants to have an outdoor feeding mission. I'm happy to work with them, and I think the offer on the north side of City Hall is a good place that creates less conflict with other people. That's just what I think. I think you see different uses. We have a lot of different desires to use the city downtown Pensacola. We got to find a way to give everybody something, but I don't think everybody can get 100% of what they want, and I think that's what we got to be working on.
What do you mean when you say too much conflict?
I mean, again, when you have things going on we've got businesses who want to know why there's garbage in front of their place or other stuff that's in front of their sites, their places of work. When Iron calls me up and says, we don't think it's acceptable to have a patron that was eating outdoors during the COVID thing, end up getting accosted and end up having a stabbing there. I mean, those are conflicts. Jeremy, I mean, I think that's not what any city wants.
The Iron incident is kind of dated now. You keep referencing it, but
How dated is it?
it's a few years, right?
2 years ago, yeah. I mean, I think that's fairly significant.
And the trash, I mean, that's an entirely separate issue than Food Not Bombs food distribution. I mean, is this not just trying to shuffle homeless people to another area of town?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, again, everybody should have an ability. It's a public space. It shouldn't just be one person saying, hey, this is what I want my public space. It's got to be consistent. And there are a number of different conflicts that have happened. And I think the idea is we got to solve a way to do it. It'd be easy for me to say, yeah, well, these people had this. I mean, and then they shouldn't need to be here. But that's not what we're going to do. We're saying there should be a place downtown where Food Not Bombs could conduct that. In fact, if it really sort of starts out, it really all started in the north side. And again, the city then told people they couldn't be here, if you remember, on the north side. That's what kind of moved this thing all the way around. I mean, to me, I think it's the best place. I think there's less conflict here with merchants. I think it becomes a better place to do it. You have ECAT here. You have a variety of other services here that work with individuals, and I think that would be more consistent with what we could do in reaching people and how we could end up working with them. And I think if there's a way to combine with what REAP and Vinnie Webbs is doing and Melissa Johnson and Fearless, I think there's an opportunity to get more people services. So I'm not trying to get rid of feeding missions, but I am trying to figure out a better place for them to do it. And I think that's what we need to acknowledge.
Have you heard from Mike Kimbrell or Food Not Bombs about that idea of moving?
I have not. I have not. I offered it to Mike a couple of years ago, and then I met with him at Alfred Washburn probably about a year ago, last fall in 2021. And again, I told him that I think that would be the best thing, the solution. So I've offered it to him multiple times. I mean, I hope now it might be a resolution and an opportunity to do something now that we find ourselves at this point. So it's another offer that's out there. But still it finds a way for us to do a feeding mission downtown, in the core of downtown, and be able to handle it in a way that creates less conflict for the rest of our citizens in what we're doing.
What was the feedback from those previous times where you suggested that?
Michael didn't want to do it. And I mean, that's what I've suggested. I mean, I've talked to him about it before a couple of times. Again, I think these are the things we should be working at ways to handle and find opportunities to address everyone's needs in downtown. But we can't have people dictating and creating problems for other people. That's where we get in conflict, and we need to find a better way to do it. I think if we were doing that feeding mission here in front of City Hall, we'd have less conflict with people.
Did he? What was his reasoning for not?
You'd have to talk to him. I mean, I can't answer his reasoning.
Is it? Can the city say you can't use one public park for one purpose and you use another?
It's a case of we've ended up in some of these things because of these variety of different issues. At some point, we as citizens need to be able to voice, and this is the problem with the public space, is we need to be able to work through the public space together, and everybody needs to have a say. And yeah, I mean, listen, I could go right now to Jeremy's question and say, yeah, there are probably some people, some merchants who would be the first one to tell me, said, I don't want them anywhere downtown. And I'd tell them, I said, downtown's got to be big enough for all of us. So I've talked to people on the other side and said, you can't get everything you want. They can't get everything they want. We need to find a way to be workable. That would be a much better city that sees itself really accomplishing a variety of different things and working well together. And, I know part of it is Michael has believed that those people should be helping and contributing to it. And perhaps if you did it in a way that was more workable with what they want to do, maybe they would be more likely to contribute and participate in it.
Does the city have the ability to tell Food Not Bombs they can't do it in MLK?
We're certainly working everything we can know what to do. And I'm trying to figure out just as much as opportunities to find resolution. There's been a communication that there's a resolution on this. How do we make that happen? We're trying to provide some leadership to that. The interesting thing I find is is the flip side of this is apparently when you don't agree with somebody, you just go all over social media, you slander them, you say all kind of things, even stuff they can't control, which I always thought it was funny how people said, well, Grover Robinson just ought to be able to get rid of those people in the DIB. Well, we found out there are rules. Everybody has to comply with rules. There are rules for a reason, and I think we all have to comply with the rules. And it's not about, well, when my friends disobey the rules, we should be able to look the other way and just not say that matters. But if the other people disobey the rules, then all of a sudden we pull the book out. And that shouldn't be what happens. I mean, that's not a community that's working well together. And listen, I'll be the first to say, when it comes to this issue, we are not working well together. But I have offered now for multiple years. I've gone. I certainly appreciate Michael came here to City Hall. I appreciate that. I went to Alfred Washburn Center. I mean, again, from my standpoint, I've tried to meet people, tried to work with people, and tried to find solutions. And I'm going to continue to do that until I'm no longer the mayor. I will continue to keep doing that.
Given that Food Not Bombs doesn't seem to want to relocate, what is the city's role in facilitating some sort of cordial relationship between Food Not Bombs and the DIB or downtown business owners?
That's what we're going to keep doing. We're going to, Jeremy, we're going to try to do it. But I mean, part of it is everybody's got to work together. And I think that's where, this is what happens. The citizenry gets a chance to see what happens. They get a chance to see how people interact and what people are really striving to find solutions, and those that aren't trying to strive to find solutions. And ultimately, the community is going to make a real big decision here coming up here August 23rd, and then again on November 8th, and those things happen. I think there's a reason, some of the people are running away from, that are on the ballot, are running away from votes they took about trying to keep the homeless camp under I-10, 110. I mean, that's clearly happening in there. So, I think it's the public is kind of ready to do something different, and the public's ready to see cooperation. I don't think the public's saying just get rid of homeless people, but they're saying we expect some kind of working together. And hopefully we get that. But I can't force anybody, Jeremy. I mean, I've been working for a long time to try to move people in the right direction, but I can't force them.
So you brought up the mayor's race. Are you willing to say if you're supporting a candidate?
I am not supporting any candidate. But I fully believe that the public should be well advised, and I think people should remember certain things. I think it's always interesting. People get mad. They're always like, well, they told me this, and then I voted, and it didn't happen. I said, well, I wouldn't listen to what they said. I would listen to what they've done. And it's when people say, well, what happens with people who haven't run for office before? Well, they've actually done community stuff here and there. Just look at it. Certainly, for mayor, you've got two people who have had public careers, and you've got two people who haven't. And I think you just try to look at those things and evaluate who you think would be the best person. Yes.
Can you comment a little bit about your email battle with Sherry?
Again, much of that comes down to the point, it continues to be, I mean, certainly it works that way. Start out with Mel Pino. We'll start out first with Margaret Hostetter in those meetings. She was here. She certainly gave y'all, we certainly know who Margaret Hostetter was working with in the campaign she was working with. And then all of a sudden it switched over to Mel Pino and whole new decisions. And no matter what happened, it was a council member was commenting on it. Again, my whole point is you got to state your case to the public, but blaming us for stuff that we've done and been able to do correctly and keep moving forward. I mean, I don't see, ultimately time will tell whether that's a great strategy or not. I don't know if it's a very good strategy. I don't think it is, but we'll find out on August 23rd.
The budget conference is going. Any thoughts the budget, your last proposed budget of the year, any changes?
We'll figure out what comes out upstairs. I think we've made strides to try to address all those things. I think like I said, it's going to be interesting to see Chief Randall is going to come forward before the next meeting, I believe, and try to give a presentation about what they've been doing in public safety. I think when you look at what they've been able to do to pull themselves up to full staffing levels, I think when you see what's going on with fire reaching ISO 1, we've been reaching those things. Also got something in for the last 10 years on all of our enterprise funds. When you look at where our enterprise funds are in the sense that they are at basically record levels, we are doing everything we can within those enterprise funds. We need to figure out how to support them and keep them moving forward. They're doing an incredible job. And then from there, it's just things like Public Works and Parks and Rec. And we're getting there on everywhere. I mean, do we have challenges? Yeah, we have challenges. But I think by and large, the reason people want to come to the city of Pensacola, and again, I don't think we've ever had, Jim, more people who want to come to the city. This is why we're struggling with things with house affordability. But part of it is, a big part of it is demand. People want to be here. They see this as a community they want to be in. We are attracting people every day, have a chance to choose where they want to live. And if they can come here and they get a chance and they felt like they can come to Pensacola, they're coming. And they're coming to Northwest Florida. It's not just Pensacola, really all of Northwest Florida is doing well. But I'd like to think we're doing probably better than most because of the things we've done as a community. And we're creating those job opportunities. We're creating other things. But I certainly wish we weren't in the supply side issue that we were, and we could do more things to get more housing in here, to get more people. I mean, I generally think that the only way you're going to combat the rise in demand is certainly a rise in supply. I mean, the flip side of it is we could go back to the community we had 20 years ago that wasn't as vibrant, that wasn't as good. I don't think that's where we want to go. But those are all choices the community can make. But what I hear people saying is, I like the vibrancy, I like the economic opportunity. I want this to continue to work in that way. So that's what we're trying to do. And I think the budget you're going to see upstairs definitely does a lot of that. We talked about employee engagement. Probably the biggest thing we're doing in that budget is supporting our people who work for us. I asked me, couldn't believe we had 800 people that worked for us. We got about 850 jobs, but technically about 800 people employed. There are always positions that are open because we fill them, and then some people leave, and so you got a level of positions. But, investing in those people has been one of the main things that I've wanted to do in the 4 years we've done it, is making good employees and recognizing good employees and realizing that we wanted the top of what we had. We either wanted to attract them here, or we wanted to find a way to train them so that they would become the best people in their field. I think across the board, you're seeing that everywhere. We wouldn't be able to achieve what we're doing, Jim, without employees that are engaged and want to work. Our engagement scores, we did come back down a little bit we went up on engagement. We went up as a percentage of where we were nationally. We're the only public entity with a bunch of other privates. Usually we don't pay as well as the public, so we're always going to lag behind, but we're in the 67%. So we're better than 2/3 of the other people that do that. I think that says a lot about us. Now remember, we started at essentially, we were in the 30s, and so now we're at 67. And even though we fell back a little bit, we went up nationally. I think that's probably because everybody's sort of feeling the crunch, a little bit of an economic slowdown, and so I think that's probably we didn't feel it as much as what everybody else did while we went up, but we still dropped back a little bit. But I would say the budget upstairs really looks at how we invest in those people. And, we had a little bit of money that was left over, and that was my portion. I said about the, raising the mayor's salary, that will be coming up again. We'll talk about that next week. But, again, don't raise the mayor's salary. What you want to do is there are people here that are making under what the minimum is set when the minimum wage goes up. Start figuring out how to raise those people at the bottom. Figure out how to put money in to get their salary up. I think that would be a much better use of the money. It'd be a much better use of our funds. That's certainly, but whatever happens, if it happens, I hope the mayor and the administration, as they move forward, will be very focused on how they can keep employees engaged. Because if you get good people and you train them and you work well with them, they will do incredible work for you, and they will get all the jobs that we need for our citizens done, and they'll serve our city very, very well. All right, thank you very much. We got to go see a port and an airport.